Hello again. Welcome. Michael Pizzola here, and I'd like to welcome you to this edition of the Wizards Forum audio series. What I have to say to you on this is so important that I'm thinking of releasing this so that everyone who's got contact with Post Time can hear this. So if you've come to this and you're not a member of the Wizards Forum, by the way, it's not Charlie Sheen Wizards, okay? This is, Wizards refers to someone who uses the Blackmagic Ultimate Handicapper software. But today is not about technique or form cycle patterns or odds lines or any of that. I want to take a 40,000-foot view of what we are doing, and I would like to explore with you the biggest difference. That is, what is the biggest difference between the professional at this game, the professional player, the professional investor, and the hobbyist? You must listen, Wizards. You must examine yourself. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being a hobbyist at this game. It's fun taking races apart, tinkering, reinventing the wheel. Ask me how I know. I spent years and years in this. But professional play, and by the way, professional play does not mean necessarily betting thousands and thousands of dollars. Professional play is professional level play, expert play. The biggest difference, to answer that question, we need to look at the nature of the game that we play. Now, thoroughbred horse racing has many disadvantages and many advantages. Well, actually, one disadvantage. But here's the truth. Living in Las Vegas, I know that the only three games in Vegas that can be beat are sports, poker, and horse racing. Okay, now what do those three? Oh, all right, Matt, maybe blackjack. Okay, one of our moderators is an expert at blackjack, and yes, if you count and you're able to get your bets in with all the casino safeguards against that, and you can find a game that uses the right number of decks and all, it's very tough. But with sports, poker, and horse racing, they are all parimutuel. From the French, between us, pari mutuel, or however the French would say it. It's probably not like that. But they're parimutuel. Okay? Parimutuel, between us, the bets are made. Who wins takes some money. And guess who else gets some money? The house. The house takes a cut of whether it's a poker pot, the pot of money bet on a game, or the pot of money taken on a horse race. And whether that house is the actual racetrack, or whether it's the racino, or whether it's the casino, it doesn't matter. That's why they call it the take. The house takes a cut. Now, you see the difference. In other casino games, there is a fixed percentage against you. When you sit down to play roulette, there's a fixed percentage of you because those pesky little zeros, okay? Now, maybe a small percentage, but it's fixed against you. In some slot machines, you just sit down and, I don't know how people do this, but they sit down, they keep pushing a button, the reels turn. You have no idea what the percentage is against you, and yet people play this like they're giving away money. Well, but listen, in these games, here is the deal, and here is the implicit deal that you make in the game. Okay? This is very important. There's a fixed percentage against you, and you have to play every hand you're dealt. That's it. You put your money up first. Then you get to see your cards in blackjack. Or In a slot machine, you put your coin in, and then you get to bet. Now, you bet before seeing what the possibilities are. I'm using a slot machine as an example, but can you imagine the casino letting you see the first two, if you're playing like a 3-reel slot machine, the first two things that come up, and then you can decide whether you want to play or not? Or could you imagine in poker? Now, believe me, I'm no poker player, but can you imagine if they let you see your hand before you had to decide you had to ante up? Now, I'm no poker player, but I know you have to ante up. Okay? That's the deal with poker. There is an ante. You have to put up some money. Now, if you're playing at a kitchen game, like this is a picture taken obviously from my kitchen table, a kitchen poker game. Just kidding. I wouldn't be able to play poker like with all my dogs. So if at penny ante poker, you ante up a penny every hand, right? So imagine if they would let you look at your cards before you decided whether you were going to be in on the ante or not. Not on the betting or not, but on the ante. You have to ante up. This is why in poker, the best players play tight and aggressive. Now, what does tight and aggressive mean? It means tight, and you've seen all these poker tournaments on television and all. They look at their hands, boom, just throw them away. What? You're going to fold with a 10 and jack? That's pretty good. Now, for someone inexperienced me, I said, 10 jack. I could get a pair of jacks. I could get a straight. I could, these guys are looking, and they're only going in when they've got an ace and a king and so forth. So, but when they do go in, they're aggressive. They bet. But here's the difference. Anyone can see a good hand. They refuse in most cases to play weak hands. Yeah, I know. Doyle Brunson won the World Series playing a 2-7 or whatever it was. Yes, sometimes a weak hand is a play, but it's so rare we still talk about it. Now, even if you were one of the best players in the world playing tight and aggressive and not playing weak hands, you still have to ante up. You have to ante up and still pay the take. Now, Wizards, listen to me. Here's the huge advantage that you have. Here is the huge advantage you have. You don't have to ante. Listen carefully. You don't have to ante in this game. Okay, I get it. Here's the disadvantage of thoroughbred horse racing. There's a large takeout. Okay, I get it. But unlike poker, you never have to bet a race. You never have to put up your bet before you know what's what. That's right. It's like them letting you see the first two reels of the slot machine before you decide whether you're going to ante up and bet or not. That is a huge advantage. Imagine if you're playing, video poker, and you're just looking and you bring up the hand to bet, and it's really junk, so you say, I'm not betting this time. And I'm not betting this. You sit there all day until you get 3 aces. And then you say, okay, I'm going to put some money in now, and now I'll play. Can you imagine that? Casinos will go out of business. But yes, we use our numbers and our skill and our patterns and our value capping and all of that to overcome the take. And the other ingredient that you must know is the ability to pick your spots. You never have to bet a race. And here's the sad truth. Many of us love to ante up. Ask me how I know. Gosh, it's fun. It's fun being a hobbyist. I love it. I give myself days like that sometimes. and just say, you know what, I'm going to go and try to figure out the races and try a new little method or angle or like that. Not when I'm betting professionally. You see, we ante up unnecessarily. Remember, we don't have to ante in horse racing bets. We do that because we play races. We're playing, not investing, okay? We're playing these marginal races. Races with, I don't know, too many unknowns, or, so many horses above random that it's really hard to discern. Or maybe we say, there's no value, there's no good overlay above random, so let me look at some non-random horse. In other words, by your numbers and by your lights, the horse has a worse than random chance of winning the race. But you may find something you like on it, and you say, it's raining, let me use the Dan Serra numbers. That's fine. That's fine. And I don't want to discourage creativity and all of that, but understand, now that's not your strongest plays. Okay? There's an old saying that a very dear friend of mine used to say. He would say, look, it's not the bad beats that defeats the horse player. It's not the bad beats. It's the bad bets. Okay? So, as any good investor will tell you, you don't invest you expose your capital to risk unless you almost have to. That's why I talk about the bet making you. That when really it's like, I have got to bet this race. Not like, maybe this horse will come from, East Cheyenne, Wyoming, and close 1,700 miles, or I don't know, maybe this whatever it is maybe, and I know there are 5 horses in the race that have never run before, and 3 of them are from Yugoslavia, and I've got numbers on this one horse. Come on, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but even with wizards who are experienced with using the Black Magic software, and the Black Magic software is designed not only to find good bets but to keep you out of bad bets. Yes, okay, I confess, that's part of what Black Magic does, is to help you avoid the bad bets. You know why I did it? Because I wanted to avoid bad bets. Okay, I'm not just doing it for you. I was making really, really good bets, but too many poor bets or marginal bets. Okay? So that's what Black Magic does. That's what the software does. It's designed to do that. I have no problem if you want to have, hey, these are my simple, clear, obvious, strong, I made one click here, and yeah, this confirms it, and yes, those races that say yes to you, that the bet makes you, that there's no wobbling, that it's, absolutely. And then there are those marginal bets that are like, well, I don't know, and maybe, and this could happen, but the track profile is this way. And when I hear that, even when I hear that of myself, I know, oh boy, you've got no chance. You've got no chance. And yet, on the Wizards forum, where we discuss, God, thank you, Wizards. I love going on there and seeing the tenor of the discussions that happen there. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. But even so, we'll see races where, hey, I'm going to take a flyer at this or a flyer at that. Fine. But understand, you're not talking about professional level. You're talking about playing around. Look, most of us come from the handicapping school where the paradigm is you look at some information, you try to find the winner, and you bet the winner. And if it doesn't come up kind of with your logical stuff, then you try some other stuff. And then you try this, and then you try that. And it's a matter of figuring out the race, and look how clever I can be. You know what? Been there, done that. It's a tunnel without cheese.